Hey folks, welcome to Playing in Traffic today. Truly special episode for me to make a short pilgrimage to Westminster Memorial Garden Cemetery in Peachtree City, Georgia. This is the first cemetery I've been in a little bit. Why am I here? Well, I'm here to pay my respects to the one and only Iron Sheik. Iron Sheik. I keep going, like, I'm so used to calling him the Iron Sheik, but it's Hussein Khosrow Vaziri. And not that far from my home, so that and honestly, one of the absolute, I'm like, and I always like to be real specific about it, probably I'd say about top 8, top 7, so specific heels in the history of professional wrestling for me. So yeah, and this is his grave right here. Very pretty cemetery right off the main road here. Yeah, born March 15th, 1942. We passed June 7th of obviously 2023. I love the Olympic, the symbol right there. So yeah, you see the Olympic symbol on the actual gravestone, the memorial. Well, not gravestone. So he trained for the 1968 Olympics for Greco-Roman wrestling, representing Iran, but did not compete. But in the 72 Olympics, he was an assistant coach for the United States wrestling team. I think also in 1976 as well. So tremendous athlete, period. Okay, just to begin with. But I mean, I instead of repeating a bunch of stuff that I've researched, I kind of want to go off the top of my head about some of the things of just experiencing so when I first saw him, it was probably at the Philadelphia Spectrum, and I'm going to say that was probably 1979. And at the time, he was the great Hussein Arab. So when he came back, and he's a classic example of a territory wrestling. Well, that's basically what I grew up with, was territory wrestling. So we, living up in the Northeast, I lived in Philadelphia, PA. We specifically saw WWF talent in the late 70s. And quite honestly, unless you were well-traveled in the country, which I wasn't, you learned and read and saw pictures of all the other territories, which, you know, in my situation, it was more like I was always following NWA. I knew of Vern Gagne in the AWA, Georgia Championship Wrestling, Florida Championship Wrestling. So it was, you know, Hussein would be all over the East Coast, and I do have notes which I'm going to consult. So just the timeline, because when he started in pro wrestling, so yeah, Hussein started in his pro wrestling career in 1972 with Vern Gagne in the AWA. He was actually in the same trained group as Ric Flair under Billy Robinson, and so his trademark, so I don't even know if he was initially a heel. It seems like he may have been a face, but then he started to, I guess, try to figure those things out. And I believe was chit-chatting with Jimmy Snuka, who they do say is the reason he came up with the bald head, the kind of like the handlebar mustache, facial hair, the curled boots. I did see that on in his Wikipedia that was influenced by comments Jimmy Snuka made about him becoming, you know, being the heel and the heel look that he should go with. It's a wild mention right here. 1979 Madison Square Garden. How's he? The first battle royal ever. That, I gotta wonder, like, how accurate that is. But it's the internet, so it has to be true. First battle royal ever in Madison Square Garden. The winner got to wrestle Bob Backlund later that night, and that happened to be, and I'm gonna assume that was Hussein Harab, the great Hussein Harab. We're not Iron Sheik yet, and that's not, you know, the infamous title change with Bob Backlund. That was just a title defense Bob Backlund had where he pinned the Iron Sheik after the Sheik competed in a battle royal earlier in the night for the opportunity to wrestle Backlund for the title. That's 1979, and that was the year that I first saw him, and I was like, look, we already had the whole patriotic thing was kind of simmering. By that point, I was like 13 years old, so I'm like, oh yeah, man, you know, USA, and even though I kind of, you know, gravitated to the heels of pro wrestling, I got the whole let's be anti. Look, some wrestlers really get it when they're a heel, if they have, you know, the background where, look, I'm born in Iran, and, you know, you already have that cooking already. It's like it prints money. Prints money. I know it prints money, and we know it printed money for the Iron Sheik. So, like, I remember that run in '79, but then I think he left the WWF. I'm going to say WWF at that time. And, oh yeah, he jumped over to Mid-Atlantic, NWA, May of 1980. He won a title. He won that title from Jim Brunzell. So, like, so he was doing that. Then he was doing Florida in '82. He wrestled as a face in Kuwait in 1982. And then Georgia Championship Wrestling from '82 to '83. And that's when, so he had all this work already, well known. I remember one of my, I'm gonna put it up right now. Ready? Ding. This cover, this magazine, I don't know if I had it, but I remember this picture back when I was a kid of Hussein Khosrow having Ivan Koloff in the abdominal stretch, and they're both bladed. Like, it's just a savage picture. And when I was back then, I was like, I used to look at that and I was like, no one's ever going to tell me this is not real, and this is crazy, and oh my God, and, you know, and I remember that picture, and I think I just recently saw it researching for my video today. So yeah, so 1983 starts, and it's like Hussein Khosrow comes back to the WWF and starts a little mini thing with Bob Backlund again. This is back when at this point Bob had the short hair. One of the gimmicks that the Iron Sheik, now he's the Iron Sheik, had at that time was the clubs, the Persian clubs. And I'm going to get a picture of that up too. We have to have a picture of that. There's no way we can't do that. And then I remember Bob Backlund challenging, that was the biggest thing back then. I think it was like around Christmas time, 1983, that they start the build-up of moving the title away from Bob Backlund because they brought Hulk Hogan in. And the only way they were going to do that, because Backlund did not agree to turning heel, was to have a transitional champion, which, by the way, was this gentleman right here. And in a legendary moment in the history of professional wrestling, Backlund, yeah, I wish I could actually play the video. Put the video in the link in the description. I know it's out there. So Backlund's swinging the clubs around, and it's like, and Sheiky, we're gonna call him Sheiky. He's probably underground going, this jabroni up there calling me Sheiky. Backlund was swinging the clubs around, and then Sheik was like, "Nah, dude, you're not gonna be doing this in front of me." So we gave him a couple pokes. Well, the one club dinged Backlund on the back, and Vince McMahon, oh my God, because there was no question that Backlund's back had been compromised with one of the Persian clubs. And yeah, next thing you know, they're wrestling at Madison Square Garden. And in true pro wrestling dirt sheets fashion, did Backlund really know he was losing the title? Did he not want to lose the title? Was Arnold sculling into it? I guess we could romanticize how that really went down, but Backlund did not quit. Sculling threw the towel in. That's debatable whether Backlund even knew Sculling was throwing a towel in. Who knows? But anyway, brand new champion. It's the Iron Sheik. Do we have a date for that? I could put a date on there. Here's a kick. Well, let me read this one. Let me read this one as written by me, as researched by me. The rumor was that Vern Gagne, remember, Vern's was the original that brought the Sheik into professional wrestling, AWA 1972. The rumor is that he offered Sheik to break Hogan's leg and bring the WWF title. What the heck was he talking about? I thought there was a money figure too on it. But Greg Gagne said that was never true. He said Vern never did that. He never called Hussein Khosrow and said, "Yo, man, could you please break Hogan's leg and bring the title back to the bring the WWF title to the AWA? I'll pay you X amount of dollars." Greg Gagne said that did not happen. And oh, and by the way, so that transitional time, the 26th, so the 24th he got dinged up with the clubs, Backlund did. The 26th of December, 2 days later, he lost the title due to the towel being thrown in. That was an MSG. And then by January 23rd, 1984, Hulk Hogan pinned the Iron Sheik for the title. So it was like a month-long extravaganza of having the legend, the true legend of the great Hussein Arab, the Iron Sheik. Many names, many AKAs, and not many, but those both the most prominent names that he had in pro wrestling. But yeah, I had to make the trip, man. I mean, come on, I'm Mikey Heels. I'm Mikey Heels for a reason. The Heels certainly is the bad guys of wrestling. And made it out to Peachtree City, Georgia to see his grave. And I really, I'm going to have my own personal tribute to him that y'all can see to what I'm going to do. And it's just 2026. So we're going on 48 years of just from the first time that I saw the Sheik, the Iron Sheik. Amazing career. I'm not going to sit and put all the dirty. Google the Iron Sheik. Google Hussein Khosrow Vaziri. Matter of fact, the lady in the office was like such a wonderful family when I asked her where the grave was. It is mistaken. It's not Evergreen 38. It's, I think, Evergreen 41. But they're kind enough in the office to direct you right to where it is. It's actually on the far side of, you can see right here. I think there's some kind of buildings beyond this. Obviously there's a building right here. But this is where you would know you're in the right place when you're entering the cemetery, the far left side. It's not a particularly giant cemetery, so it's easy to navigate to get here. Okay, I'm going to set up my own tribute to the Iron Sheik, Hussein Khosrow Ali Vaziri, one of the truly legendary heels in the history of professional wrestling. So shout out to my buddy Mike, because I gotta say, look, Mike, look where this figure of Iron Sheik ended up, right at his grave in tribute. And the reason why I'm saying that is because Mike gave me this. Look at this. He gave me this. Oh my God, I feel like it was 30 years ago. And look where it ended up, man. We ended up taking it all the way to his grave in tribute. The one and only Iron Sheik. Take a quick ride to the entrance of the cemetery, and did want to mention, I mean, most of my, what I think is the golden years of seeing the Iron Sheik and Great Hussein Arab was the late 70s and early 80s, but his career went on and on and on. I think he actually won the title, the WWF title, back in, I think he was 40-something years old. He was at least 40. He was at least 40 years old when he won that. I'll clarify and put it in here. Dude was just absolutely tremendous condition. That's really it in a nutshell. Tremendous freaking condition. And not to discount what he did post like 1983 and on, as we have the Westminster Memorial Gardens, the signage right behind us. He really got his flowers, in my opinion, with Nikolai Volkov. So they had that tag team. That was extremely popular. Tremendous heat that they would get for the longest time. And I think the longer they stayed in it, the more lovable they got. They really did. I mean, people had mad respect for the two of them. And oh, by the way, I do have to mention, probably the greatest hardcore extreme match that I've ever seen, and you have to see it. There's really good footage of it. I think even WWE has it in their vault on YouTube. Sergeant Slaughter and the Iron Sheik in a boot camp match is absolutely unbelievable, and I mean unbelievable. It's a great. It really is. It's a tremendously worked match of horror. Must-see TV. Go back and check. I would go and check that out, especially if you. Matter of fact, link in the description. I keep saying that, and I'm gonna follow it up. Another link in the description. Some of my favorite highlights of his career. Hussein Khosrow. I'll put them in the link in the description. All right, folks, that's going to do it for this episode. Yeah, a funeral just pulled up, so out of respect for the deceased and their family, I got out of that area. Yeah, have a great day, pleasant tomorrow, and look, Iron Sheik, rest in peace. I know he had with his daughter, he had a lot of just a lot of wild drama there in his life, and I believe that's where that plot came from, I believe. I'll research that too and put in a text, but just a legend, man, a legend. Had to visit, and I will visit as many of the legends, as many of the pros that I really appreciated the most. I'm going to try to get out to as many of those grave sites as I can. That being said, have a great day, pleasant tomorrow, and I'll see you next episode.